One of Brent Gove's favorite quotes, I hear him say it all the time, is a rising tide lifts all ships. That's why we're here, and that is why Brent flew in our speaker to talk to us today. Okay, so Mary Maloney, she's going to give us a marketing masterclass. She's going to help us learn how to create an engine to consistently and profitably grow our business. She's going to help us leverage listings and generate more buyers. So please stand up. Welcome to the stage, Mary Maloney.
Well, thank you so much for that. I didn't know I was going to start the morning by crying, and I'm running out of time because I'm 57. So thank you for that motivational talk. But it's true. And building our businesses is kind of like that football player, right? We're carrying people. And as realtors, we either have a very high-paying job or we are building a business. So my challenge to you today is to think about which of those you have and which do you want. Because having a very profitable, high-paying job is great. But then there are some of us that want to build a business that will continue to pay us, continue to create generational wealth for those people that we are carrying. So, my name is Mary Maloney, and I am a little Southern girl. I grew up in Arkansas. Don't hold that against me. I got out. I wear shoes. I didn't marry my cousin. I was in the military. I was in the Navy for 8.5 years. Any veterans in the house? Yes. Where's Frank? There he is. This is my husband and I. We met in the Navy. This was a long time ago during Desert Storm, circa 1991. After the Navy, I did 8.5 years. My husband stayed in and did 20. He was a Navy hard hat diver. I was in communications and intelligence. And after the Navy, I had a quick Devil Wears Prada experience. All the ladies in the house love that movie, right? I know where you'll be May 1st. The second movie's coming out. I had a short 18-month Devil Wears Prada experience. And then entered into corporate marketing. And in corporate marketing, I was lucky enough to work with Kellogg's, Nickelodeon, Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, and really honed my marketing chops, if you will. And so really, all of that experience parlays into real estate. Because you think that you got a real estate license, but what you did was become a CEO. And now in real estate, we are all running media and marketing companies that just so happen to sell houses. Who's with me? Right? And so after my corporate marketing experience, the company I was working for moved to Golden, Colorado. My husband said he wasn't moving east of the 15, and that's the 15 freeway. And the company said, well, if you don't move here, we're going to have to part ways. So a girlfriend took me to lunch for my birthday and said, hey, what are you doing with all that marketing experience? I'm getting my real estate license. Why don't you come work with me? We'll go get all the deals, and my husband has his broker's license, and we will let him do all the paperwork. And I said, Kelly, I am not driving around with my face on the side of my car. And she says, you don't have to do that. I'm like, what? That's not a rule in real estate? You don't have to take your photo with your pet and put it on the side of your car and in people's front yards? That's not some rule? There's not some national organization that says this is how you have to do it? And she said, no, you can do real estate any way that you want. And so from that moment on, I started looking at real estate and thinking about real estate, how the real estate industry operates on rules that don't exist. We tend to look at what others in the real estate market are doing and we just copy. Now, I'm all about rip off and duplicate if I see a great idea. And y'all are welcome to rip off and duplicate anything that I share with you today. That is the power of the collaborative effort that we all put in. So feel free to rip off and duplicate. At dinner last night, the group was sharing with me different ideas of what they wanted to get out of today. And I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I completely changed my entire slide deck. So they are not fancy slides. They are basic slides, but I'm hoping from what we talked about last night that I'm going to share some things with you that could really bring value to you. Is that good? All right. So in the short time we have today, I really want to talk about market dominance. I want to talk about how you leverage listings, how you leverage buyers, and how you really become a dominant agent in a particular market. Because there's a difference between agents who market and agents who dominate. If you're a solo agent, can you please stand? You're not a team member, you're not a team leader, you're a solo agent. Okay, great. Awesome, thank you. If you're on a team and you're a team member, please stand. Awesome. Okay, thank you. If you are a team leader, broker owner, franchise owner, please rise. All right, let's give them a round of applause. They put all this together. Love that. If you have been in real estate less than 5 years, please stand. Just so I can get a gauge of who is in the room. Less than 5 years. Please give these folks a round of applause. They are here investing in themselves. Welcome to the dark side. My Uber driver is taking his real estate exam. I gave him my card. He'll be joining Brent's team. It's all good. Okay. If you have been in real estate more than 5 years, please rise. If you have been in real estate less than 10 years, please sit down. You didn't know there's going to be a little Mary Says portion of the morning. 20 years, sit down. Wow. All right, please give these folks a round of applause. Okay, so those of us that have been in the industry longer than 20 years, would you agree that real estate has changed? Carbon copies, press hard. That was how I started, right? Press hard, 3 copies. We presented offers to the seller. Could you imagine sitting across from a seller and making your buyer's case? Oh, that was fantastic. Loved it. I hated when we got fax machines. So what I'd like to do, because we have a lot of newbies, also to kind of reframe the thinking of those that have been in the industry for a while. We were talking about this at dinner last night, is the commoditized process that is now real estate. Okay? No longer is this a hobby business. No longer is this I'm going to get my real estate license and maybe sell a couple of houses to family and friends. That's fine, but that is not a business. The commoditized process of real estate is now broken down into these 6 sections. 0 to lead is the responsibility of marketing. Lead to appointment is the responsibility of sales. Appointment to contract is also the responsibility of sales. And this is what real estate agents love. This part is showing homes, writing contracts, helping people. All you team leader broker owners, this is also the money trap. That's a whole different presentation. Contract to close. This is the responsibility of operations. Close to the next appointment. We have got to watch our nomenclature in real estate. There is no such thing as a past client. They are clients. They are forever clients. When I'm at a party with my hairstylist, she doesn't say, "Meet my past client, Mary. I just cut her hair last week." Why do we do that to our industry? Close to their next appointment is the responsibility of marketing. The cycle starts over again. Now, if you're a solo agent, you're responsible for each one of these 6 areas, and you have to execute each one of these 6 areas. If you are a team member, you get to sit in this nice little appointment to contract spot, and all the other things are done for you. If you're a team leader, you've likely hired people into each of these sections. The money trap comes into how the commissions are divided into each of these sections. It's also important for agents to understand how you're allocating your commissions into each of these different sections. It's also important for team members to realize what your team leader is spending on each of these different sections. Okay? So, the commoditized process of real estate. But what we're going to talk about today is that 0 to lead section of real estate and getting that initial lead. Sales may be done by your ISA if you're on a team, or you as the agent are having to then follow up with those leads. Okay? So this entire process could be broken down and presentations done on each one of these areas. If you're interested, I would love to come back at some time. We can break each one of these down. But what I want to focus on today, because of my background, is marketing. And I think a lot of real estate agents get it wrong. I think a lot of real estate agents, because let's face it, when we got our license, they didn't teach us about marketing. Have you ever used the definition of a township? I actually had a client ask me last week, we're selling 21 acres in Hemet. And she said, "How many square feet is in an acre?" I said, "Phyllis, we have Google for that. I don't have to memorize that." But there was no class that said, we're going to teach you how to market as a realtor. We're going to teach you contracts, right? And we're going to teach you how to run a business, how to read a P&L, and how to be profitable and not be on a feast or famine wheel, right? Or cycle. There's no classes for that. So this part of marketing is really what I want to dive into today, because I think a lot of agents think they're marketing because they're posting on Instagram, they run ads, they send postcards, but that's not marketing. Those are just pieces of marketing. Marketing is actually a strategy, and I have been known to have fancy slides. People told me, "Stop it with the colorful slides. They don't photograph well." So you're getting nice slides that you can take pictures of, and hopefully you'll be able to read them after the class. So let's talk about real estate marketing and the cycle of marketing, because I think marketing 101 is something really important to understand. If you put a sign in a yard, that's advertising, okay? Now, if you post that listing on social media and you do email blasts and you send out postcards, that is actually promotion. If it's a luxury listing, if you do some sort of cross promotion, Some of our luxury listings, we've had celebrity chefs come. Ed just did a cross promotion with Ferrari. That is considered publicity. When you sit down with a seller and you discuss comps, you talk about the market, you answer questions, that is sales. Did you think when you got your real estate license, you were in sales? Yeah. Whether you're selling a Xerox machine, Botox to a doctor, this is a sales job. This is where our money is earned. If the seller then leaves you a glowing review, tell others about you, and they post it on their social, that is public relations. Now, if you intentionally farm a neighborhood, track the data, build brand recognition, nurture relationships, follow up consistently, and follow a plan, that is marketing. Congratulations, you all just earned a degree in marketing. Now, let's apply this to something else. So there's a circus coming to town, okay? And they put up posters that the circus is coming. That's advertising. They take one of the elephants and they put a sign on the elephant and they march the elephant through the streets. That's promotion. The elephant happens to trample the mayor's flower beds at his home. That's publicity. The newspaper picks it up. The mayor goes on the news and laughs about it. That's public relations. You call in to buy a ticket and they help you understand the layout of the circus and where you're going to buy your ticket inside of the tent. That's sales. Overlying, encompassing, that's marketing. So now that we have those basic principles of what marketing is, can you see that you cannot just do one thing? You can't just post on Instagram and say that's marketing. That's a piece of your overall marketing plan. Now, how does that apply to listings? Because ideally, we would love to get 5 sales from every single listing that we have. Who in the room, over 50% of their business is listings? Awesome. Who wants more listings? Yes. Can we all agree that list to live, right? Somebody told me that when I first got in the business, list to live. And I think that with everything that's going on in our industry and all the noise and private exclusives and all the things, listings is really where you leverage. Listings is the door to get all the other things in your flywheel to working. Now, if we do this right, we'll get 5 sales from every single house that we sell. And we're going to do that in taking advantage of the process and marketing at each step of the process. So it first starts when you have a coming soon. Pre-marketing, building buzz. This is how we do it. Coming soon videos, yard signs, circle dialing. Doing the big neighbor launch party. Does a movie, okay, Devil Wears Prada, they're not waiting until the day before May 1st, right? They're not waiting until April 30th to say, hey, there's a movie coming out tomorrow. They've been building buzz for months. Social media, interviews on all the major networks, on all the daytime TV shows. They have been building up this momentum. We as realtors, a lot of times, take a listing, put it on the next day. We have one day, we do an open house, we put out 3 signs, and hope that somebody comes along. Those are the 3 P's of marketing. Put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray. How many know 3P realtors? Right? But we're not those people. We are marketers. We are running a media company that just so happens to sell houses, and it starts with coming soon. This is just an example of some of our print materials related to our coming soon, our launch party that we did in the neighborhood. Because what is the most important thing to get from a listing? Baby listings, another listing. And we all know those nosy neighbors. So create an atmosphere where the neighbor feels comfortable coming to see the house. You then know that every single person coming through that door is a neighbor. You don't have to ask a bunch of qualifying questions. You're not trying to determine if they're a neighbor or if they're actually a buyer. You've created an environment that they're comfortable, and there is open conversation going on about the market. Well, if this home is selling for this, you should see mine. Love those people. Love those people. Effective signage when you're leveraging your listings. Are you actually utilizing the largest sign that your approved post for your area can accommodate? Size matters. For our luxury listings, we actually invest in custom signs. I can't tell you how many listings this $145 sign has gotten us. A point of differentiation. It's what we all have to do. And then utilizing QR codes, all those things. Also, open houses. How many open house signs on average do you put out for your open house? Tell your partner. How many open house signs do you typically put out for an open house? 30. Love it. What are open house signs actually? Promotion. They are free billboards. It's advertising. Those are free billboards that you can have out. Again, rules that don't exist unless you're like, I know, in an HOA, they won't let us do it. We can only do it a certain time. No. I know. But on the main roads, who says you can't put open house signs out at 9 a.m.? Who says you have to even pick them up over the weekend? Free billboards. Do you know the traffic patterns? 22,000 car trips a day just on San Elijo Road and through our farm. 22,000 car trips a day to see my free billboards. Because these are our open house signs. Again, size matters. Whose sign do you think they see? My competition? Sorry, Alan. He's my competition. He's now at EXP. I digress. Okay. Size does matter. Big logos. Stop it with all of the little stuff. You have 1 millisecond for them to see what it says. It's got to be big. It's got to be bold because you're imprinting on their mind. You're imprinting every time that they drive by that open house sign. Okay, door knocking. Go out in teams. Ideally, our team tries to hit that whole little neighborhood where that house is, but minimally 10 to the left, 10 to the right, 20 across the street. We take a bottle of wine and a note to the immediate 5 neighbors to say we're having an open house this weekend. If anyone accidentally blocks your driveway, please call us. There's going to be a lot of traffic on your street this weekend. What is that? What is that? Public relations. Somebody may park, I want to help you. I'm not going to let them block your driveway. Okay. We haven't even launched the house yet. Do you think people would take notice, the neighbors would take notice from everything that you just did? Okay, now we're launching our movie. Now it's the big premiere, right? You're doing videos and social media throughout the week. You're doing that neighbor launch party. You're having the first open house. You've launched the property now. The next moment in the process that is a huge marketing advantage that most agents don't do is the point in which they get into escrow. Videos, letters to the neighbor, to the entire neighborhood. Hey, this is Mary, circle prospecting, circle dialing. Hey, don't know if you saw, but 123 Banana Street, we just put that property in your neighborhood into escrow with multiple offers. Those buyers really love your neighborhood and would love to live there. And we know how much they're willing to pay because we had multiple offers. You can put that into a voicemail, slide broadcast it. You can drop a letter. You can door knock, use brochures. This is an example of after we're in escrow. And I want to talk about the anatomy of direct mail. Because all of you in this room have a personality. You're analytical, you're a driver, you have a personality, and we tend to market in our personality. And we also tend to think that everybody else has the same personality. I was losing listings at one point. And I talked through it with my coach, and she was like, okay, tell me about the sellers. And I realized that I was not great at the analytical listing presentation. You definitely have to have 4 different listing presentations. And I was blowing it with the analytical. I'm a driver. I love marketing. I'm a creative. I'm a visionary. I love the pretty pictures. This is how we're going to market your home. That's great, but give me the data. I was blowing it. So your direct mail also has to speak to all of those different personalities. But the one thing that you have to do is you have to lead people down a path. How did you deliver that success? Show them. We had 20,000 online views that developed into multiple offers. We now have a happy seller. Now, what do I want them to do? You have to tell people what you want them to do because you're either branding or you have a call to action. They're 2 very different things. If you don't give people a call to action and give them explicit instructions into what to do, you're just branding. Okay? So a path of success, tell them how you did it. These are the secret things that we do behind the scenes that people don't know. Well, the house sold. Well, it sold so fast, it must have been listed low. They undersold it. No, we drove 20,000 online views. We had 200 people at the open house. We had multiple offers. That's how we did it. Now you have a pathway to show them how you're going to do it for them. I love this one. Just listed and already in escrow. So this is also how you build momentum, okay? This is a case, here we go. This is a case study for a community called Belmont. So this was the first one that we sold in Belmont. It's 100 homes. They are considered detached condominiums. And they're selling in San Diego 900s, $1 million in our particular community. So I wanted to run a controlled study. You'll never know if marketing is effective unless you A/B test everything. Do you think at Kellogg's we A/B tested children's cereals? Do you think we A/B tested commercials before we ever paid millions of dollars to put them on TV? But we as realtors think, well, Mary, I put out a postcard. I didn't get one call. Well, was there a call to action on it? Or was it just branding? Did you A/B test it? Everything I'm showing you today has been A/B tested. We would send 50 of one style, 50 of another, A/B test to see which got clicks, calls, or what we wanted them to do. So this was the first house we sold. We put out this postcard. Then we got a call from this person in the community on Dolomite. Walked them through our process. This is how we did it. So as soon as we listed this one, we didn't even get our first postcard or our neighbor open house done, and it already went into escrow. So notice what we're telling them there. 2 in Belmont in 2 weeks. Because why? Because one of those previous buyers, that was our first phone call. We had the leverage in that listing presentation because we knew the agents that had buyers and we knew what they were willing to pay. Right? So 2 in Belmont in 2 weeks. Now you get to the closing. This is the next moment in time when you have to capitalize on marketing. Tell your buddy how many postcards, if you do direct mail, tell your buddy how many just sold, did you see what happened in your neighborhood? Tell your buddy how many postcards you send out after a closing. Are we living by rules that don't exist? We send 5. We send 5 cards. Just sold with the main Architectural Digest cover photo that we've used throughout the marketing so that people can associate, oh yeah, I've seen that house. Okay, now I associate, yes, it's sold. Then we send another postcard that says sold with a different photograph of the house. Then we send a third card that says sold with a different photo of the house. What did I just do? I look like I'm selling 3 times as many houses. They don't associate, oh, they had a picture of the front, now there's a picture of the kitchen, now there's a picture of the backyard. The sold cards don't have addresses on them. Then we send a review card. So you can see how all this multiplies on each other, right? Then you're circle dialing again. Meet your new neighbor. Who says that you can't throw a party to say goodbye to the seller and invite the new buyer to come and meet their new neighbors? Are you somehow offending the buyer's agent? No. Don't ever forget non-owner occupieds. Our market is 22% investor owned out of 3,500 homes in one particular farm that we have. I own 2 offices. I'm a glutton for punishment. I bought another brokerage 2 years ago. That's a whole nother presentation. But do not forget your non-owner occupieds. They're sitting in Virginia, have no idea the amount of activity that's happening around them. Maybe they need to talk to their financial advisor. Maybe it's time to do a 1031 exchange. Maybe it's time to take some equity out. Don't forget your non-owner occupieds. Then we took Belmont as a case study and we sent an actual CMA to every single owner in that 100 house neighborhood. We took the time to personalize it. This was the next card we sent out. Now we've got 2. Now you're seeing 3. Like we're just dominating this neighborhood, right? This is an example of the review, the testimonial that we sent out. So our sequence of cards. I do want to pause and talk to you about client testimonials. Storytelling is really farming real estate, everything 2.0. Online, social, you have to be a great storyteller. This is where we really dominated, was in copywriting. Now you have ChatGPT. But please don't use the word nestled. No house is ever nestled in a neighborhood, okay? Please change that word. It may be perched on a hillside, but it is never nestled. It's a dead giveaway you use ChatGPT to write your description. But what I want to talk to you about is client testimonials. Most reviews say, oh, Brad was great. His team was awesome. Can I see myself in Brad's review? No. So here's how we do our reviews, and this was part of a We Are campaign that we ran. We're about to launch this again. Campaigns last a certain amount of time. We're going to talk about that when we get to tactics. But this is an example of client testimonials. When we happened upon a new construction home and we had no intention of moving, we fell in love with this new home but needed to sell our existing home. Maybe someone that's sitting in your farm. It was right before Thanksgiving. We weren't sure if it could happen. We called Hometown Realty, and Mary and her team jumped into action. Not only did they sell our home in record time, but we moved into our new home for Christmas. Hometown Realty made our dreams come true, and we are grateful. We are the Yates family. We are Hometown Realty. Does that sound different than Brad did a good job? Mary did a great job. Could someone see themselves in that situation? Or if they hear of someone in that situation, you become the brand recall. I cut my finger. I need a Band-Aid. I don't need a bandage. Hey, how many square feet in an acre? We have Google. We don't have search. When somebody mentions real estate, the one question you should be asking every single client, if someone mentions real estate, would you feel comfortable recommending us? What have you just done? You have psychologically planted the seed that when anyone mentions real estate, they're supposed to automatically brand recall your name. That is what marketing is brand recall. Now, once you are through the sweat equity stage of your business, you can start moving into the check equity stage. How many people are still in the sweat equity stage, all you newbies? Sweat equity. How many have progressed to the check equity stage of your business? All the rest of you, because you're all lying. Realtors will spend $99 on anything. It's a proven fact. Every shiny object. Right? Best tip I ever got was to cancel my credit cards every January 1st. Then you find out what you're spending a lot of money on that you don't use. Because then everybody starts hitting you up that your credit card's expired or something happened. And you're like, oh, who are you? What service is this? What conference did I sign up for this? I don't know. But when you get to the check equity stage, you can start to utilize services that will make things more personal. Because in the age of noise that we now live in, between Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and the mail, making it personal is where homeowners will start to build a relationship and know, like, and trust you. So anytime you can do anything handwritten, that really makes it personal. Anyone here know the company 3 Day Blinds? You've heard of them, seen their commercials. Dan Williams, their chief marketing officer, shared this tip with us at a mastermind. There were about 50 of us in the room. The psychology of mapping. And we had been doing this for a while, and I didn't really understand why it was so successful for us until Dan did his presentation. And do you remember as a kid, you would go into the library and there would be a globe? And you would run to it and flip the globe until you found where you were. And you're like, we're right here. We all as humans have this psychological thing about where we are in the universe, spatial placement. And mapping is the next level of leveraging your listings. When you start to get success, now you need to leverage all of that proof and success. Highest sale, highest price per square foot. Hell, I was number one at 2:00 on Thursday in my MLS. Whatever it is. Utilize your team. Utilize your brokerage if you don't have a lot of sales. If you have just a few sales, make those little dots bigger. There are no rules. We live by rules that don't exist in real estate. Make them bigger. Use maps. And then the other tip that Dan gave us is during Christmas, snowflakes get the most response. No Santas, no Christmas trees. This is millions of dollars in A/B testing. Snowflakes win at Christmas. That's your pro tip. Okay. Take a picture of this. This is how to leverage to get more listings. I don't have time to run through all of these, but this is a framework and a roadmap. You really have to be building a database. The most important thing that you own is your database. Everyone with a CRM? Everyone that was in their CRM this morning? Awesome. If I had it to do over again, the smart thing to do 20 years ago would have been to buy 500,000 leads. They were way cheaper back then. Buy 500,000 leads, which would have been, there's 3 million people in San Diego. 500,000, that would have been a nice chunk of the market. And then never bought another lead again. Those people are going to move. They are going to have babies. They are going to get married, hopefully in the reverse order of that. They are going to buy and sell homes and buy investments. Your database is the most important thing that you have in your business. So start with clean data, add every house to your CRM, set them up on weekly market updates. Everybody wants to know what their house is worth. More importantly, they want to know how much equity they have, not just what it's worth. How much equity do they have? Again, we have to change the nomenclature in this business. Add every household to something like a fellow. Any fellow users in the house? All right, awesome. Love Fellow. I would definitely look into them. Have your team leader look into them. It is true that your database is going, we were talking about this last night at dinner. It is true that your database is going to churn a certain percentage of deals every single year. It was a punch to the gut when we put all of our leads from Boomtown into Fellow. Fellow has data enrichment. So just with a phone number and an email, they can go and say, this person that entered your database 10 years ago now lives at 123 Banana Street. 422 transactions happened out of our database within the last 12 months without us. That was a fun team meeting. That was a really fun team meeting. But you can track, I went down the rabbit hole. You can track those people back to entering our database 10 years ago Someone on the team called them, texted them, sent them a couple of emails, tried to deliver some value, did the 10 days of pain, and then trashed them. But they did buy a house. Maybe we did not earn their business, but they are now a homeowner, and we want that listing. So, your CRM in your database is the most important thing. Upload the emails into a custom audience in Facebook. These are your people. You want them to see your stuff. Create a custom audience. Do video market updates, which you can also put into Fellow when they get their equity reports. Again, nomenclature, equity reports. Direct mail to the farm, monthly email newsletters. You guys know what to do. Prospectnow.com is where we go to look for the top 100 people most likely to sell in our farm. We give those people extra attention. CMAs, those 100 most likely to sell, get a personal CMA every single month delivered to their door in a priority mail envelope. Because what are priority mail envelopes? Important. And guess what? They're free. You can just go to the post office and grab a whole handful. And then if you drop it off, you're not paying the postage. What a concept. Better yet, who has a runner that works for them or works on their team? A runner. Anybody? Okay. If you don't, hire a high school kid, college kid. Wears a logoed shirt. Ding dong. Answer the door. Ding dong. Hi, Mr. Smith? Yes, I have a delivery for you. Sign here, please. Great, thank you. Hand him the package, turn and walk away. You know they got it. You know they opened it. You know that folder is now laying on their counter. Work smarter. Okay, here's a quick case study. Elfin Forest. This was a forever client of ours. I had already done 4 transactions with them. They wanted horse property. We bought this house. 5 years later, they called me to sell it. So we sold this house and sent out our coming soon marketing. This is my production partner. And we sold this house, which then this neighbor that had come to that house, that was a $3.265 million sale of that equestrian property. This neighbor came to the neighbor party when he got the marketing that we had sold that house so quickly. This was a $3.9 million sale, same neighborhood. This was the power of doing massive open houses. This couple from Livenhain saw the property online on Instagram. They had been looking in Elfin Forest. They came to our big open house. There you have an offer. This was the marketing piece that we put out from this house, which led to a listing appointment, and we will be listing this $5 million property. If you do all the things, you can't just do one. You gotta do all the things, because tell your buddy in your household who gets the mail. You or your spouse. Tell your buddy who gets the mail. Tell your buddy who gets the mail. You or your spouse. Tell your buddy if your spouse is on social media. Tell your buddy, is your spouse on social media? Tell your buddy if your spouse drives a car. Okay. My husband gets the mail in our household every single day. And it lands on my island. every single day. He does not have social media. From his 42 years in government work, my husband is not on Facebook. He is not on Instagram. So what marketing would he see? Which piece? Remember, they're pieces. I would see the social media. My husband, though, does drive a car. So he would see all the open house signs that you have out. My husband is a nosy neighbor. He does stop at open houses. So you can see that you can't do one thing and expect everyone to see it. Okay? Okay. That is leveraging your listings. Are we good so far? Are you guys finding value in this? All right, great. All right, that energizes me. It excites me. Okay. Last night at dinner, where's Audrey? Audrey. I know she's here. Did she leave? I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and changed my slides for Audrey. So somebody's going to have to take pictures of these, okay? Now I want to talk about leveraging your buyer sales. How many people in the room, over 50% of your business is buyers? You're on a team. You work with a lot of buyers. Okay. Are you doing any of the things that we just talked about for listings for your buyers? Everybody that raised their hands. Are you doing all that same framework? Let's talk about it. Step 1, if you're working with buyers, you have to have a mindset shift. You must see every transaction that you do in this business as a force multiplier. Who's read 10X? Yeah. You have to see everything in this business as a force multiplier. Buyer, they want to buy a house. Did you know statistically, 82% of the buyers in your CRM own a home? 82%. They come through Zillow looking to buy a house. Hell, they own a house. It might be in Virginia. It might be somewhere else. But 82% of buyers in your CRM actually own a home that they need to sell. Because what is the question that we should be asking all of our buyers? Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, will you be paying cash for this home, or do you have a home to sell? Getting referrals, the neighbors, future listings. You can see how this flywheel starts to happen, right? Okay. This is a challenge that we've been doing on our team. It's called the Last Buyer Appointment Challenge. We have prepared letters, and at the end of the last showing, when they go out to show property, they knock the 5 doors to the left, the 5 doors to the right, and the 5 doors across the street. Hey, ding dong. Hi, how are you? I didn't mean to bother you. I know you weren't expecting me. My name is Mary. I'm with Hometown Realty, and I was just showing your neighbor's house to some clients of mine, and unfortunately, it doesn't really work for them. I was just curious if you've heard of anyone else in the neighborhood that might be thinking of selling. Well, actually, me. You wouldn't believe the amount of times that works. If they don't answer the door, you leave a letter to the same effect. I was in the neighborhood today showing my clients. I thought that it might not work for them. They love this neighborhood. Do you know anyone that's thinking of selling? That's the Last Buyer Appointment Challenge. Okay, how many of you send out buyer letters? I have a buyer. They want to live in your neighborhood. Homeowners are now like, they know what you're doing. They got our number. Realtors ruin everything. Realtors ruin what's my home worth? Online. Realtors ruin everything. So let's talk about the anatomy of a great buyer letter. If you send a letter that says, I have buyers that really love your neighborhood, do you know anyone that have thoughts of selling? That's fishing. They are onto you that they know you're just looking to get a listing. However, if you send a letter that says, Dear neighbor, I'm currently working with a longtime private client. Okay, you got my attention. Long-term private client. They specifically are looking, be specific, they are specifically looking to buy a home in the blankety blank neighborhood. Oh, now this applies to me. We've exhausted all current inventory, and I promised my clients that I would reach out to every homeowner in the neighborhood to help them find their dream home or their next home. You made a promise to your client. So now they understand why you're in their mailbox. Now you need some rationale. They like this neighborhood for the schools. They want to live closer to their kids. It's a short commute to work. What's the rationale of why your client wants to live in that neighborhood? They are open to looking in any price range. Notice I didn't say they'll pay whatever you want. They're open to looking at every price range based on condition and location. That's the truth, right? Your client isn't just going to pay any price. We have to look at the condition, the location, the upgrades, all the things. And then restate your promise. Again, I promised my clients that I would reach out to everyone to exhaust all avenues in helping them to find a home. Even if you are interested in renting your home. Now, are you working on behalf of your client, or were you just fishing for a listing? Yeah, that hits a little different, right? Okay, so let's be sure and take a picture of this. Let's up our buyer letters. Okay, step 3. You as a buyer's agent need to leverage the escrow. Who says that the listing agent can send out letters and you can't? Again, rules that don't exist. Because what does a seller want? A buyer. Who said that? Who said that? Come on, take the recognition. Yeah. A seller wants a buyer. They don't want a listing agent. So send out the letter. I just helped so-and-so buy a home in your neighborhood. I have more buyers. That's what they want. They want a buyer. Utilize social media, postcards. You can circle dial a neighborhood as a buyer's agent. Who said you can't? Then the other opportunity is at the closing and the closing success. Anyone here utilizing buyer signs? Buyer signs. Oh, y'all are going to love this one. Okay. All right. Get your phones out. Y'all are going to love this. Pro tip. Okay, I got your attention? Buyer signs, social media, postcards, welcome party for your buyers. Meet the neighbors, mimosas and donuts. Bring in a coffee cart. Your client doesn't have to worry about the house being clean. You're going to keep them outside. You can door knock, do all the things. Okay. This is our buyer sign. We put this in the yard. We ask our client to leave it up for 2 weeks if the HOA will allow. So here's my case study for you. Kyle and Jana Holly, great young couple. I helped Michelle Hunt and her husband buy a home on Stargaze. Put the buyer sign in the yard. The next day, I get a call from Jana. Jana says, hey, Mary, this is Jana Holly. I live on Stargaze, and I saw that you just sold the house next door. We're thinking of selling. Great. Can I come over today? So we sell Stargaze for $910,000. They then downsized into a condo on Sky Ridge. That was the wrong move. 2 years later, we sold Sky Ridge, and they kept Sky Ridge as a rental. We bought Archer, and then 2 years later, we sold Sky Ridge. 2 years later, Jana calls me and says, Mary, if I do not find us a bigger house with trees, my husband's going to make me move to Oregon. I just happened to have listed the house 2 doors down from me, and we sold Archer, and they bought Schoolhouse. Then at the beginning of COVID, their daughters are now in junior high. You will see them running track and field in the Olympics. I just know that in my heart. They wanted to move to Orange County because there was a private school in Orange County that had an amazing track and field program. So I double-ended Schoolhouse. Then we sold Schoolhouse. You can see they made a nice profit on Schoolhouse, right? Bought it for $955. We sold it for $1.7 at the beginning of COVID. We moved them to Orange County, and they bought Coto de Casa. 1 year later, she calls me and says, Mary, Coto is too far off the freeway, because Kyle was still commuting back to San Diego for work. So we sold Coto, and they bought a home in San Juan Capistrano. That's $10.5 million in real estate off of a $2 sign. Signsonthecheap.com. Signsonthecheap.com. I don't have a referral code. I'm not going to make money. Signsonthecheap.com. Get yourself some buyer signs. Leverage. I can't tell you how many calls we get. People don't even read the sign. They're like, yeah, I'm calling about the house at 123 Banana Street. Like, yes. How can we help you? I'm interested in that home. Oh, I'm so sorry. We just put that one into escrow. Is this the neighborhood you're looking in? Who says you can't put up a sign? Make them big. Let the neighbors know. Let everyone know. Now, this is an example of a 30, 60, 90-day campaign that you could do upon representing a buyer. So, grab a picture of this. Save time. Again, leverage your buyer's success. Utilize maps. Okay. Good. Leveraging buyers. How many of you are going to get buyer signs? I told you were going to like that one, right? It was worth coming today, right? Okay, my work here is done. All right, thank you. Now we're going to talk about farming. Who in here already does geographic farming? Okay, how about categorical farming? Okay, demographical farming? No one. Okay. So farming, typically in real estate, people think geographical, right? Like there's an area on the map and I'm going to own that. But what I want you to think about is also, well, I thought I had the slide. Maybe I didn't. I also want you to think about categorically farming. Maybe you specialize in land and ranch. Maybe you specialize in golf course homes, right? That would be categorical farming. Demographical farming, maybe you specialize in first-time home buyers. Maybe you specialize in military and VA. Do you have any military in the Sacramento area? Yeah, lots? Okay, great. It is a big part of our business. So maybe you are doing demographical. Last time home buyer, last time home seller. Can we talk about boomers? Yeah. So farming does not always have to be geographical, okay? But if you want to start a geographical farm as we were talking about at dinner last night, maybe you're running all over Sacramento selling houses. Maybe you're here, you're in the West, you're over there, you're all the way, right? And that's a lot of time that's being eaten up. Whereas if all of your business was in one geographical location, you could start a micro farm. Now, I'm not saying go out and start with 10,000 houses. I'm not saying I'm not saying do one postcard. That's not effective. I'm saying from a planned strategy that encompasses all the pieces that we talked about, that is the overarching theme of marketing. This is one way to start a geographical farm. You can map on Google all of the sales that you've done, all of your past sales. You can also map your sphere. If you have put all of your sphere into your CRM, you can also map your sphere. I would highly suggest looking at an EDDM route. Who in here is already doing EDDM? Who in here has no idea what I'm talking about? Okay, go to USPS.com, go to the Postal Service, top bar, business, then go to every door direct mail. That is going to give you the postal route for that community. You can look by zip code, you can then zoom in. It will give you the postal route. This is where you take the postal route, just as an example. Our farm typical route is 700 homes. So we will print 1,000 postcards because they're cheaper. We bundle them in 100. We take them to the post office. The post guy puts one in every box. Guess how much? 18 cents. Not a stamp. 18 cents in every box. So look at an EDM route. Look at where you've already had sales, where you have some success. Choose a micro farm. Start small, where you can hit more times than trying to go bigger and then you run out of your budget. Okay? Now let's talk about the TAM. TAM is very important. The TAM is the total addressable market of any neighborhood that you are looking at. Okay, you want to take the total number of sales per year. You want to divide it into how many homes sell. This is going to give you your turnover rate. Now, if you're looking at a neighborhood that's $3 million homes, there might not be a lot of turnover if that's the luxury market. The luxury market is considered 3 times your median price point, okay, in any given market. That's what we consider luxury. So you want to look for a turnover rate. A healthy turnover rate is anything above 6% in this market. Is there enough business for you to spend your budget to get results? Because a lot of times in this business, people talk about ROI, right? Return on investment. Oh, I put this much money in, I got this many sales, I made this much profit. What people don't talk about, which is what corporate America, what we talk about is CAC. What is my customer acquisition cost? 2 very different things. You want to look for the average price point. What is the GCI potential every single year? That will help you to determine your budget. Then what you want to look for is if there is already a dominant agent that works that farm. Trust me, you come to my farm, I'll cut you. Everybody knows. Just enough fried chicken redneck crazy. Okay. Here's some opportunities that we are currently looking at that I want to share with you. Number 1, COVID buyers. Everybody during COVID's mother's, brother's, cousin's, uncle had a real estate license, right? It was fast money. They could get in, they could make some money, and then they went back to work at Starbucks when they really had to start working in this business. It's not as easy as people think. So, what are all of those? Those are orphaned homeowners. Take a look in that market. Look in your farm. How many of those agents sold one house ever? That's an orphaned homeowner. That is a big opportunity. We were talking about this last night. People bought during COVID and they settled. They didn't buy their dream home. Now interest rates are at a point they're looking to make a move. Big opportunity. New construction. Any new construction going on in Sacramento? How many people go to new construction with an agent? Not a lot. And a lot of them, if you're working condos, those are first-time home buyers that are then going to have a baby, then they're going to have a second baby, then they're going to need to move up. You start working new construction, getting your name out there, having events, becoming the agent, get to know the salesperson in the office, study the models, know everything that's an upgrade. So when you go into a house, they're like, oh, let me show you. I'm like, oh, wow. Who chose to put the loft? Oh, well, my wife. That was a good call. You just added square footage. Know the models inside and out. New construction, big opportunity. Last time home buyer, last time home seller. Huge. Huge. People are cashing out of their 30, 40-year family home and downsizing. We call it right sizing. Doesn't sound so depressing. They're getting the right home for them at this season of their life. That's the brokerage I just bought. It's in a last time home buyer, last time home seller market. When you talk about TAM in our market, our original, and I've built my business this way. We are not a Zillow Flex team. This is true, earned marketing chops, real world experience, in the trenches, bootstrapped, 22 years. This is how we built our business. Hundreds of homes. We sell about 150 million a year. I'm at a different season in my life. I'm not interested in being number one anymore. Other things are important to me. I think there's a lot of people in this business that are interested in other things. The leaderboard maybe isn't so important anymore. But the market that we predominantly built our business in, family market, schools, those people, that was our business. Move up, move down, move around, get the pool, get the ocean view. Oh, you've had the 5th kid now, we got to move up. That market, dead. TAM down 65%. People are hunkered down. They have a 3.5% interest rate. They're like, Mary, we love you. We're not moving until Bobby graduates college. We'll see you in 20 years. So we had to pivot. We had to shift. We had to see, where is our business coming from? How many people in here remember Mrs. Fields cookies? At the mall, right? Oh, the smell of those cookies. Like, oh. What cookie do you think Mrs. Fields made the most money on? Sugar cookies. Least amount of cost to make, highest seller. Next is chocolate chip. Ingredients a little bit more expensive. So the most profitable cookie was a sugar cookie. The most sales, you're right, was the chocolate chip. But the ingredients were more expensive. Luxury cookies. How many people ever bought a white chocolate macadamia nut cookie? Okay, luxury buyer over here. What kind of car do you drive, ma'am? Mercedes! Talk about demographics. Talk about knowing your buyer. Highest expense to make, but didn't sell a lot of them. Tell your partner what's the sugar cookie transaction in your business. What is the least expense, most turnover, highest profitability? Tell your partner. What's your sugar cookie business? Do you see how this relates to real estate? You have a sugar cookie business. Is it $700,000 to $800,000 townhomes because the turn rate is so high? What is that sugar cookie business? And then what's that chocolate chip business? And then you've got the luxury. Maybe every once in a while you sell a $3 million house. Could Mrs. Fields exist if all she sold was white chocolate macadamia nut cookies? She got rent to pay. Do you know how expensive it is in a mall? So you have to have a diversified business. You got to know your sugar cookie business. You got to know your chocolate chip business. And then go after them. These are the D's of real estate. You focus on these, you will always have business. Death, debt, divorce. Even in a 65% down market in our farm, people were still getting divorced. Finances get hard. That's when those true conversations start coming out. So we had to shift our focus to divorces because the diaper and diamond business was not happening. People were not moving up. They're like, my wife can remodel the kitchen. We're staying here on a 3.5% interest rate. We have another kid, put a bunk bed in. We're not moving. Now, I couldn't think of a word for relocation, so we called it delocation. Now, during COVID, people were moving for disease, right? Yeah. And then our military absolutely moves for deployment. Let me tell you, government doesn't care. Government doesn't care what's happening in the housing market. They're getting PCS'd. Do you know your migration patterns? Do you know what your base is? What are those migration patterns? Where do people, what is their MO? Do you have Marines here? What do you have here? Air Force. Love the Air Force. Where do they go? What's the MO? Find that out. Find out the migration patterns. Find out how often do they get PCS? 3, 4, 5 years. How many VA loans are currently in this county? San Diego County, 5,000 VA purchases every single year. We have the largest fighting force on the planet. Is this helpful? Okay, what's today's date? The 19th. Guess what? Anytime someone starts a new habit, how many days till they give it up? 19. 800 million people were surveyed that start going to the gym on January 1, and it lasts 19 days. This is the J curve. You are currently in a state of running your business. Any of this stuff that I have told you today, there is going to be a period of disruption. You are going to be investing. You're not going to see immediate results. And you're going to think, I have gone off the cliff of, oh my God, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. But then, all of these things that you're doing, the flywheel starts happening, and then the results start coming. But you can't stop the work, okay? You can't stop. This is how you build influence. This is the difference between agents who market and agents who dominate. This is how you start to build influence and a reputation. It's not one thing. You have to be doing all the things when you start to get into farming. Maybe you're having VA home buying seminars. I have a group of gals on my team. They are doing first-time home buyer seminars. 48 people showed up. They booked 22 appointments. All on social media. Okay? You have to be doing all the things. Now they're doing events. Now they're door knocking. Now they're EDD and mailing. Okay, let's talk about direct mail because everybody always wants to talk to me about direct mail. Let's talk about direct mail. We're going to move fast. Okay? Rapid fire. Rules for direct mail. You have to be consistent. You have to be frequent. If you are starting a new farm and a micro farm, you got to hit that farm 4 weeks in a row. People tell me, oh, Mary, I mailed that farm once a month for a year. Okay, great. They didn't even really start to recognize your name until month 4. 4 times in a row. Then you got to go twice a month. And then you've got to keep the frequency going. Okay? You have to have a compelling message. Remember, you're either branding or you have a call to action. Give something of value. Jab, jab, jab. Right hook. How many people read the book? Highly recommend. Gary Vaynerchuk. Jab, 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 right hook. Okay? You have to give value, give value, give value. Then you can ask for something. Okay. I have 3 tactics for you. We're going to move fast. I want you to think in terms of campaigns. You guys now have a Marketing 101 degree. Now we are moving into Marketing 202 if you were in college, okay? Marketers think in terms of campaigns. Campaigns don't last. Think about Mercedes commercials. You don't see the same commercial. There's a different commercial at Christmas than there was during summer. You have to think in terms of campaigns. What are you trying to accomplish? These are some of the titles, some of the campaigns that we've run. This is an example of the Smart Move Good People campaign. When I moved my independent brokerage to EXP, we ran Smart Move Good People. That was a smart move for me as a business owner. And there are good people at EXP. If people choose to work with us, that's a smart move because we're good people too. I want you to think in terms of campaigns. People like simple words, quick, easy, they can read it, and it starts to sink in. Tactic number 2, you have to create a funnel. Otherwise, all you're doing is branding. It'll work eventually. However, you have to create the funnel. Top of funnel builds awareness. Then at some point, they are going to move into a state of interest. Then when they move to bottom of funnel, that's when they call you. So remember our pieces. What is your initial advertising? Is it the sign in the yard? Is it a postcard? What is your initial advertising? Where do you want to take them? And what action do you want them to take when they get there? You have to tell consumers what to do. Click here, scan this, call us, text us, go to our website. On Instagram, you have to tell people what to do. Share this with someone looking to buy a home. Comment, like, subscribe. Right? You got to tell them what you want them to do. Because the ultimate goal is to get them into your what? Database. Most valuable thing you own. This is an example of our 50 top tips for selling. We did this in print. We did this as a downloadable item, as a white paper, mini chat, click here, stand store, get people into our database. Okay, everyone take a picture of this. I'm gonna move out of the way. Remember we talked about personalities? Every piece of direct mail has to hit all of the personalities. Analyticals like numbers. Drivers, we like bullets. Give it to me short, sweet. I don't want to read a paragraph. Your expressives love pictures. These are the people on Pinterest. And the amiables love the testimonials. Do you think they would rather read the testimonial I gave you or that Mary and her team were great? Then there has to be a clear call to action. This is an example of a piece. So you'll notice we've got the analytics, we've got the data, we've got the graphs for the drivers, we have the beautiful pictures of the homes for the expressives. We also had some testimonials on the back page of that. I don't know what happened to my slide. Again, it was 4 o'clock this morning. This is another example of data, very data driven. The inside of this had the pictures. This is an interesting piece that we did. I can't remember the company who did this. If you go onto my Instagram at Mary Maloney, if you want the company that did this, DM me and I'll look up their information and send it to you. This is, you get them in the mail. It feels like hard plastic, and it feels that gift card will pop off. But it wasn't a real gift card. They had to call me for a consultation. Be creative, point of differentiation. This is way different than what Susie, the realtor, is sending out. Okay, tactic number 3, repurpose everything. More important than ever, you have to be repurposing your content. If you do it in print, put it on social. If you put it on social, turn it into a blog post. If you send out a newsletter, turn that into a blog post. Make it a video. If you do a market update, do it in print. Do it as a newsletter. Make a video about it. Because what is here right now? What is here right now? Thank you. Who said that? AI is here. Where is AI going to gather their information? They're looking online. Doesn't mean it's always right. Market through stories. I'll save this for my next presentation. Events. This is all about building influence. This is our Airstream we have. We do events with this. Adding additional layers. Know your demographic. So when we moved into the last time home buyer, last time home seller market, we started a newspaper. Average age 70. They love the paper. They can't wait for the paper. So we started a newspaper. So think about the demographic. Who are you marketing to? What is the modality that they like to communicate? Believe it or not, boomers are on TikTok and Facebook. Not so much Instagram, but those boomers are on TikTok. I can't even believe it. This is a CMA challenge. Get out there, do your cloud CMAs. We talked about this, put it in a priority mail envelope. Okay, here's where we are. Farming 2.0. If I came to you and said, hey, HGTV wants to do a TV show with you, would you then have somebody else star in the show? No. You can't outsource your social media. Your social media is your HGTV show. You got your own show for free. This is Farming 2.0. This is where it's going. Take a picture of this. This is my girlfriend, Becky Garcia in Phoenix, Arizona. She taught me this. We are implementing this right now. She set up a Google alert for her market. This video was about a new development coming. She put it into ChatGPT, said, give me a script from this article. She then cut a CapCut video, edited it in CapCut, put it on TikTok, 12,000 views in literally 24 hours. What's more important, how many shares did she get? Would you love for 12,000 people to see your content and share it with other people? This is Farming 2.0. Remember, layers. We have to be layering. Because if we're using AI, homeowners are using AI. Take a picture of this. This is an AI prompt that my coach had me do. I was so scared I was not going to come up number 1. But we did. She made me put it in right there on our Zoom coaching call. I'm like, oh my God, what if I don't come up? So I did it for Sacramento this morning. I said, who is the top real estate agent in Sacramento? I'm interested in selling my home, and I want someone with a proven track record. That's important to me. Is Kim Pacini in the room? Is Sanit here? Is Dan Ellison here? Jay Friedman, Parm Atwal, Sam Allen. Have you heard of them? Some of them? Okay, this is your homework. You're gonna go to use AI and you're gonna put in this prompt because it is then going to show you Kim Panici came up because of a blog post. What is the number one thing, according to the most recent NAR study, that a homeowner wants in their real estate agent? Who said communication? Responsiveness. Responsiveness was the number one thing. So I said, I want someone who has a proven track record. Kim ranked as one of Sacramento's top realtors by total sales volume in 2024. Do I care what happened 2 years ago? No, but this is what ChatGPT told me because of a blog post on sacramentomove.net. We search on Google. We look for answers on ChatGPT and AI. Homeowners are going to be searching for their agents on AI. So, you guys go do that, then you're going to look at the sources of where ChatGPT got their information because ChatGPT doesn't have to be right. They don't have to be right. They just went and sourced the internet for information. These other people came up because of their bios on Fast Expert. Have any of you heard of Fast Expert? I hadn't. I'm like, what the hell is that? I didn't even have a bio on there. We do now. We do now. So, the fastest path when you pick a micro market, a geographic farm, the fastest path to compete, maybe there's a dominant agent. You have to pick the area, maybe it's a micro farm, build elite marketing, create consistent online content, know the market data. You got to know that market inside and out. You got to know when you prep for an open house, how many of you pull comps? Great. How many of you look up the tax rolls to see the previous owner's name? Great. Because when a buyer comes in, when the neighbor comes in, you're like, oh yeah, Bob and Susie down the road, they sold for 1.3 million. It's not, 1470 sold for 1.3 million. Your neighbors know their neighbors. Know your data better than anyone. Open house dominance, you have to be everywhere. You got to be in their mailbox. You got to be on social. You have to get your profiles done so that you show up in ChatGPT. You've got to elevate your Google business profile. Go in there, look at your Google business profile. Pro tip, ChatGPT does not pull from Google business profiles. Can you believe it? They pull from Zillow reviews. Now, wasn't everybody telling us to put our reviews on Google? That's great for Google search, but it doesn't help you if people are going to ChatGPT. So you got to have your reviews on Zillow, Yelp, believe it or not. ChatGPT loves Yelp. Ugh, gross. But they love it. Be everywhere and build referral relationships fast. Comfortable on video, yes? Love to make video, yes? All right, here's how you break in. You got to have a relocation guide. Go to Canva, make a relocation guide. If you're with EXP, you have brand content inside of your Canva. Make a relocation guide. You have to have a point of value to hand out, to have on social, download, mini chat, through your stand store, get the email. Emails are more valuable than phone numbers now. You have to have the email. Do a top 10 neighborhood tour series. A monthly Sweet Spot newsletter, hidden streets. People love that. Market breakdowns. Oh, 10 houses sold. Great. What does that mean for me? What does that mean if I'm looking to sell right now? What does that mean if I'm looking to buy right now? And people love the videos about this is how much $500,000 gets you in this market. Because they kind of know how much money they're going to have to spend, right? Okay. I have 2 more slides. And I have 7 minutes. I've done great, right? I had 80 slides. 80 at 4 o'clock this morning. Okay, these are books that I recommend. Building a Story Brand. I read this book every January 1st. This is how we built the framework for our client testimonials. Prove It. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Great book, Bible of Marketing. Copywriting. Dabble in it. You guys have ChatGPT to help you, but people know if you're using ChatGPT. They know to help you write things. Have enough copywriting framework to know if this sounds good or if it sounds fake. Okay? So I recommend these 4 books, and I want to leave you with this quote by Steve Jobs. If your customer buys once, you made a sale. If they come back, you've built trust. If they tell others, you built a brand. And that's what we're all after, is building a brand. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Brent Gove and his team. Thank you so much.